Hi YouTube, today I'm going to be bringing you a video tutorial on retouching eyebrows, adding eyelashes, and getting rid of flyaways. The first thing I want to do is I want to make a blank layer, and I'm going to name my blank layer eyebrows because that's the first thing I'm going to work on just for the sake of the video. I'm going to select my clone stamp tool to work on the eyebrows. I'm working with a bamboo tablet, so I need to change my settings so that the pen pressure is not set at all. So pen pressure is set to off for this part. I'm going to select right above the eyebrow area. I'm going to select the skin, and then I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to clean up all around the area, the top area of the eyebrow. I'm going to be using soft brush. Usually opacity will be set to anywhere between 80 and 100. And I'm just going to clean up all around the area around the eyebrow and just selecting from the very near areas of the skin around the eyebrow. So we're just going to clone all underneath, just clean up those edges just to give it a sharper, cleaner look to the eyebrow. Right now, the edges are soft because I was using a soft brush to clean up around the edge, but I'm going to be bringing back that texture, that harsh texture from the hairs back. I'm going to be making a mask of this layer, and I'm going to be bringing back that texture from the original hairs. Right now, I see that it's messed up a little bit here when I was cloning, so I'm just going to fix that up a little bit with the good skin. Right now, so far, we have our rough sketch of how we want the shape of the eyebrow to be. Again, I'm going to make a mask now. And I'm going to select my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to select black so that I can reveal a little bit of the original texture that was on the hair that I got rid of when I was cloning. So I'm going to paint in with the black, and this is just going to bring back the hair on the edges, the original hair that was there. So I'm just going to paint really close to that edge just to make a perfect edge. Again, I'm going to do the same thing in the bottom here, just so the edge of the eyebrow won't be so soft. And I always like to zoom in and out just so I can have a better perspective of how things look. Because if I stay at 100% and then end up looking completely different once I zoom out. So in your workflow, just make sure that you zoom in and out constantly so that you can have a better look at how things are looking from far and from close. Now I'm going to be filling in the little areas where it has missing hair inside the eyebrows. So I'm going to make another layer, and I'm going to call that eyebrow fill. I will look for all the little gaps in the eyebrow, and I will select a very, very small brush. And again, I'm going to be using my clone tool. And I'm going to set a medium hardness to my brush. Again, you do not want to grab a big brush and clone because it will look, you will be able to tell that it was cloned. It won't look good. So like I showed you, that's wrong. So let's grab a really, really tiny brush, and we're going to select from a very close area to where the gap is. And then I'm going to fill that in with the hair that's in there. And always make sure to grab from different areas so that it doesn't look like a pattern. Because once it looks like a pattern, it makes it obvious that it was altered. And there you go. I filled in the eyebrow. It's much better. Again, always using a small brush about the size, just about the size of the gap only. Before and after. So now we have a more sharper, cleaner eyebrow. Now I'm going to make another blank layer and I'm going to call this eyelashes. I'm going to be working on the eyelashes, just adding a few lashes to make them a little bit fuller and less sparse. And to also, because she has blonde eyelashes in the bottom that were not fully grabbed by the mascara, we want to add on just so it looks more fuller. So I'm going to grab the smudge tool and I'm going to set my pen settings. Is going to be a really, really tiny brush. I want to make sure that my pen settings are set to pen pressure for the size jitter, for the angle jitter, and for the roundness jitter. I want them all to be set to pen pressure. This is what's going to give me a pointed tip and a fatter center depending on the pressure of the pen, just like if I was really drawing. So now what I'm doing with the smudge tool, I am just smudging the tones that are already there of the current eyelashes. So I'm drawing in the hairs, but I'm using the current tones of the eyelashes that are already there. So I will be drawing in eyelashes one by one, following the existing shape. I'll make sure to crisscross them so they look natural, because eyelashes don't fall perfectly. You know, hairs do crisscross just to give them that natural look. So I will be drawing in, and this is all with my smudge tool. It's set to 100% strength. And we're sampling all layers. And we're doing this on a blank layer. So we're just going to keep on drawing. Again, we're zooming back out so we can just take a look at how it's coming together. And again, with drawing things like this, it's just about trial and error. And just make sure that the size of your brush matches the size of the current eyelashes that were already there. Right now, moving on to the bottom eyelashes. And because there's not a lot of color tone on the bottom eyelashes because they're blonde and there wasn't like enough mascara for me to smudge these eyelashes, instead of using the smudge tool, I'm going to switch to my paintbrush tool and I'm going to draw them in with my paintbrush tool instead of with the tone that was already there. I'm gonna go to my palette of colors so that I can choose a similar color to the eyelashes that are there. And I'm just gonna sample from one of the lashes. And I'm gonna hit OK. And now I'm gonna be drawing in with my paintbrush. Again, just the same way like I did the smudge tool, but instead of with the smudge tool, I'm using the paintbrush now because I don't have nothing to sample from on these bottom lashes. So we're just gonna draw them in. I'm going to lower the tone that I chose just to give the lashes a little bit more dimension, because to give them more depth. Because not all lashes are going to be perfectly exactly the same. I'm going to grab my eraser tool and I'm just going to erase a little bit of the edges and tips from them. Right now they look a little bit painted on, but we're going to be fixing that. What we're going to do is we're just going to blur them a bit and then add some noise to them so that they can match the lashes that were there already. Again, you can just keep on adding. It's just a preference of how much eyelashes you want or how long you want them. So just keep drawing until you're satisfied. Now I'm going to go to filter and I'm going to blur them first. So not noise. This is just, I went into the wrong area. So I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm going to blur them first. I'm going to go to filter, blur. And you do not want to use Gaussian blur. You want to use just a regular blur. So let's cancel out of this. So again, filter, blur, your regular blur. Just blur them on once, and then you go to filter, noise, add noise, and you're gonna add about 2% of noise, and you're gonna hit OK. And that what that does is just blends in the lashes with the original lashes, so they don't look painted on. And there you go, you have some lashes that look natural. Now what I'm going to be doing is a curves adjustment layer, and I'm going to name this mascara. I'm just going to use it to darken the lashes overall a bit. And I'm going to be doing a curve adjustment layer, and I'm going to fill it with black by hitting Control I. I'm going to select my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to set it to a white paintbrush. And I want to have a really low opacity for this adjustment. And I'm going to be painting in and did the lashes individually as careful as possible so that I'm just grabbing the lashes. So we're just painting in this adjustment. This is just darkening the lashes, just like mascara would. There you go. The next step we're working on now, the other tip basically is on flyaways. How to get rid of a flyaway hair. Typically, flyaway hair is light in nature. So there will be lighter hairs that are not going, that are going opposing to the natural shape of the hair, which is usually a vertical lines. For the flyaway hair, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set a blank layer and I'm going to set that mode to darken. And then I'm going to grab my clone tool and I'm going to set the mode on the clone tool to darken as well. I do this because the flyaway hairs, like I said, are light in nature. And this will allow me to clone them out without affecting the darker areas that are around the hair. It will only affect the lighter hairs. So I'm going to start cloning and selecting areas near the hair. And I'm going to clone them out and make sure that I go with the flow of the hair so that all the hair is going down and vertically. So as you can see, we're cloning and it's only affecting the lighter hairs. Let's say if by any chance you have a hair that is actually dark in nature, that is going on the wrong direction and you wanted to get rid of, then you would do the same exact steps, but instead of setting them to darken, you will set it to lighten, and that will only affect the darker hairs. But in our case, since flyaways, again, are light in nature, we're going to set it to darken, so the only color that's affected is that those hairs that are light in nature. So we're going to keep cloning. When you're working with hair, it's very time consuming and it's good to take your time so that it will look good, and do it in really small, with a small brush. So you can just follow along. Again, I'm going to say the instructions again so you can follow along, for those that are a little bit slower and need to catch up. For the flyaway hairs, we're just making that blank layer, setting the mode of the layer to darken, grabbing our clone tool and setting the mode on the clone tool to darken, making a small brush with a soft edge, with opacity at 100% and flow at 100%. And we're going to be cloning out those light hairs. Again, always going with the natural flow of the hair. So again, we're just using our clone tool set to darken mode, 100% opacity, 100% flow, soft edge brush, and we're just cloning on darken mode. So that's pretty much it for the tips for today. We basically worked on eyebrows, eyelashes, and flyaway. These are few tips that should be able to help you clean up your images. And just a few tips. I will be adding more tips on my YouTube page, so make sure to subscribe and comment, rate, and like if you like the video. And I also have my Facebook page, and you can message me through there, and I'll be more than welcome to answer any questions that you may have. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and thank you for watching. Again, this is Angie, and I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Bye.